You're watching the Central Post. This is Samiksha Ajay. Across several parts of India, a familiar but worrying scene is returning. Long queues outside LPG agencies, people checking booking apps repeatedly, and one question quietly spreading across many homes. Is the country headed towards shortage of gas? And the concern is not coming out of nowhere. Thousands of kilometers away, the escalating conflict in West Asia involving Iran, the United States, and Israel is shaking global energy supply lines. At the center of this disruption is the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most crucial routes for oil and gas shipments leaving the Gulf. Right now, tanker traffic through this narrow passage has slowed sharply, where security risks, threats, and attacks in the region have made shipping far more uncertain. And for India, that matters enormously. India imports roughly 55 to 60% of the LPG used in home across the country, and nearly 80% of those imports come from Middle Eastern suppliers like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE. So when instability hits that region, the effects do not stay confined there. They eventually begin to ripple through India's own energy supply chain. And we are already seeing some of those effects. On March 7, state oil companies raised LPG prices. Domestic 14.2 kilogram cylinder became about 60 rupees more expensive, taking the price to around 915 in Delhi and close to 950 in several other places. Commercial cylinders saw an even steeper jump, about 115 rupees more, pushing prices beyond 1880 in many cities. Whenever prices rise this quickly, panic buying tends to follow. In some areas, reports suggest domestic cylinders are being sold on the black market for as much as 1500. Though the governments insist that there are no immediate shortages for households. Authorities say refineries are diverting more propane and butane towards domestic LPG production under the Essential Commodities Act, while oil marketing companies such as IOC, BPCL and HPCL have been asked to prioritize household supply. To prevent hoarding, refill rules have also been tightened. There now has been at least 21 to 25-day gap between cylinder bookings. Officials maintain that national LPG reserves remain sufficient for the coming weeks and that India is trying to diversify supplies through additional contracts, including shipments from the United States. But even if the households are being protected for now, the strain is already visible somewhere else. I'm talking about the commercial sector. Supplies of commercial cylinders have been sharply reduced so that more LPG can be directed towards homes, and for many businesses that rely heavily on bulk cylinders, the consequences are immediate. In Mumbai, nearly 20% of hotels and restaurants have reportedly shut down operations due to supply disruptions. The Hotel and Restaurant Association has warned that another 50% could follow if the situation continues. In Bengaluru, hotel associations even announced a citywide shutdown beginning March 10, saying deliveries of commercial cylinders have effectively stopped. Similar disruptions are being reported in Chennai, Kolkata, and other major cities across India. And the timing couldn't be worse than that. This is peak wedding season in India, especially in North India, when caterers rely on large numbers of commercial cylinders to cook for massive gatherings. For parts of India's hospitality industry, the situation has already moved beyond inconvenience and into serious operational pressure. The government has clarified that there is no formal ban on commercial LPG cylinders. However, non-essential users are clearly being deprioritized, while urgent requests, particularly from hospitals and schools, are reviewed separately. For households, supplies continue for now, though sometimes with longer waiting times. But the bigger uncertainty lies ahead. The conflict in West Asia shows no clear sign of ending. The Strait of Hormuz remains volatile. Global crude prices are about $90 to $93 a barrel. If disruptions persist, India could face further price increases, tighter supply controls, and wider ripple effects across food services, catering, and everyday costs. For now, officials are urging people to avoid panic buying and book cylinders only when necessary. But what the situation is already showing is something way deeper. How a conflict in a part of the world, thousands of kilometers away from India, can affect the daily life and businesses here in India and other parts of the world. And we don't know what's coming next. Things would be really changed in the coming days. It could escalate, it could worsen, it could manage. But guess what? The worst part is that we common people cannot do anything about this. This is the picture for now. Keep watching the Center Post.